Hello everyone, welcome to Cartoon Season. I'm Tyler, and this is where I talk about all different types of animation. And today we're doing some good stuff. We're doing some Hilda Season 1, and obviously a Netflix show. Something that for me just kind of came out of nowhere. A lot of people were talking about it. It's more of a like a seasonal type thing, or not a seasonal, like a slice of life type show. And yeah, I think it deserves all the praise that it's gotten so far. So we're gonna be talking about Frida drifting away from Hilda and David. We had some scary moments in the end there with them. We're gonna talk about the nowhere space, which I think is very, very cool. And then we're going to talk about some possible season 2 stuff. What we might expect from a season 2. Season 2 already exists, but I haven't seen it yet. And before we get into that, make sure to go to the Tiger T YouTube channel or any other podcast service. Listen to more episodes. We have a good time. So let's get into the whole friendship stuff. That was an interesting moment for me because they grow so close. Obviously Hilda's the main character, and then episode 2? I think it's the end of episode 2 when she actually finds Frida and David as friends, because episode 2 was when she went to the school and she found sort of friends, but they were like bullies. But this friendship was much better, they're cooler. They, Frida and David, they have their own personalities, and I think they contrast Hilda very well. So it was very interesting to me when they actually started to go the route of, this relationship, this friendship between these characters is not. It's just deteriorating. It's something that's for a hot second. You're like, oh no, are they not going to be friends? If there's another season, which there is, are we going to see different characters? It all started when we found out that a ghost was cleaning Frida's room. That ruined her because she thought she was so tidy and clean, and now she's like, if I have to spend time cleaning my room, I can have time to do all the other stuff I do. All that stuff, and I thought it was a very funny thing because it is a very kid worry of oh no, because even I think David and Hilda tell her, it's why don't you just clean your room? But you get it, right? Because it's her whole image that she's built up, and it's not only a facade she puts on, it's something that she believes herself. So if it turns out not to be true, it's literally destroying who she is, because that's all she is. If you look at Frida, you just see her as this perfect person. Her parents talk to the teacher when she gets a 99 on something. She's always pristine and everything's in its place, and then you realize that she's not that way, and so again it destroys her character from the inside out. And it's tough. We have moments where Hilda, more so David, takes some jabs at her. I don't think they were ever intentionally mean. I think it's just David making jokes. That's what kids do. Especially kids who are really close friends. You tell jokes at each other's expense. It just happens. But you could also see it the other way, where maybe it was insensitive, because you can very easily see that Frida is going through some stuff right now because of all this. This isn't just a small matter to her. And so David, even if they weren't with any malicious intent, those jokes are really getting to her, and we see it later on where she lashes out at them multiple times, even to the point where she goes a little too far in her own jabs towards David and Hilda. And it's a really sad scene. They're in the bedroom, and they, David walks away and Hilda walks away, and Frida says something about how, she wishes that Hilda never moved to the town. it sucks, and that's one of the darker moments of the whole show. One of the more like serious real life moments. And you're like, oh no, this group, this group's not gonna make it, I mean, you can tell everyone regrets it, like they all want to be friends, but Frida's going through stuff, and her friends, her current friends, Hilda and David, it's just not possible for them to help her right now, and vice versa, so and then Frida eventually starts spending more time with the Mara, those group of creatures that like invade dreams, and they're like witches kind of, which is really weird because Frida's never spent time with them before. It's also not her character, her personality to hang out with people like that. So you can tell, like, at least in the moment initially, she is just trying to latch on to anyone who will give her some sort of the attention that friends give you. And she's just not ready to go back to Hilda and David. At the moment, you're not even sure if she's ever going to go back to them and hang out with them again. We do see a couple moments where Hilda and David, and then Hilda herself goes over, and it definitely looks like Frida wants to, but initially Frida just is trying to separate herself, and then even the Mara themselves stops any other sort of like external connection with Frida and anyone else. So it's tough, it's a tough spot to be in, with your friendship being in that spot, of like you're not really talking and you want to, but you're not really sure how, so it does feel a little broken for a couple episodes here where we don't have the entire group, Hilda doing stuff by herself, Hilda getting David's help, but the absence of Frida is definitely, it's visible, and then even a little later on again with the Mara, like you can tell Frida is scared of them, where at this point she maybe does want to get out and not really hang out with them anymore, but the Mara, they're so intimidating, and they do have powers, like they do have magic, and they can really mess you up. So Frida doesn't really know how to escape that, and she ends up not going back with Hilda and David, because of all this. So I do know at the end they do kind of get back together or whatever, but it is still left in a very strained position, where Frida does help David with the backpack, and they go through and they get out of the camping area, but like I'm interested to see, and I'll talk a little bit more about this when we get to the season 2 segment, but I'm interested to see if they have any real like makeup and like reconciliation of the group, or if they'll just start season 2 and they'll just say whatever, who cares, they're together, let's just keep going on adventures. I personally, I would like to see some somewhat emotional moment where, even if it's quick, even if it's just like, you don't have to apologize, or we don't have to talk about it, we're friends, that's what friends do, and they just kind of move past it like that. I would like to see something at the top of season 2, with that. But yeah, I do really like that moment of the show, or that like little mini arc of the show, where the show for the most part, it's fun, it's whimsical, it's very slice of life, even though there is some like fantastical elements to it. Not every cartoon has to have some crazy story and character arcs and everything. Sometimes it can just be fun. But I do like this little addition there, where we do see some strain on the relationship between the characters that we've grown to love over the past 13 episodes, and to see them deal with that, it's nice. It's a little refreshing for what the show has been so far, to add an element like that and actually execute it cleanly. But now we can move on to the next one, where is the nowhere space. So I wanted to discuss the nowhere space because I think it's just a really cool thing, So we have the Nissi. I forget how you say it. I watched the show only a few days ago, and I don't remember. I'm just saying Nissi. I'm gonna say Nissi. The Nissi hide in nooks and crannies between spaces and homes. So yeah, these are just like little goblins who just kind of like literally they just hide in like the spaces like between the couch cushions or, behind the entertainment stand or whatever, and they just kind of chill. Every house has one, and they're known to steal things, even though from what we've seen from Hilda's experience, it seems like they don't really steal necessarily. They more so just like take things that are forgotten. I mean, yeah, we did see them steal, but to me, it's not 100% steal. It's not 100%. They're just taking things left and right. Like, it feels like things that are forgotten. Like, there's a reason why they hide where they hide. It's somewhat metaphorical, where it's like when you lose something between the couch cushions and you just never remember it. Well, the Nissi have taken it because they're like, oh, well, this person doesn't know it's here. They've forgotten it. They've abandoned it, whether it was intentionally or unintentionally. So it's ours now, and we'll make use of it. And it gets even deeper when we get past just the initial Nissi, and we learn of the Black Hound, right? Which we later learn on is named Jellybean, and but the Black Hound was using these nowhere spaces, to kind of hop from place to place, from house to house, and just crashing everything and destroying everything, which was unintentionally framing all the other Nissi into thinking that they were stealing stuff and just destroying homes and then getting them kicked out. But again, that was interesting to me because, I mean, we saw the one Nissi bring Hilda into it, but it's cool to see that other things, like pretty much anything, if you know where to look and you know how to jump into the space, you can use those spaces as well. It's not like just Nissi have, their own keys that only work for them to get into this space. So I thought that was really cool, and kind of, builds up the world a little more. Even Hilda was like, man, I wish I knew this was here. Like, what did she say? Like, it like kills her to know that there's somewhere in the house that she doesn't know about, because, she's very explorative, so for there to be this like vast space in her home that she's never been in, like, she's curious, but a huge like wild card when it comes to this nowhere space is outside. So outside in like the wilderness, in the forest, or just on the street or whatever, there's also doors to the nowhere space, but because it's so vast, because outside is literally outside and it's not just that one building or one home or whatever, there's no telling where you'll pop up. If you go into one hole out the other, you don't know. In a home, you can kind of like gauge it, and you kind of look out, you can peer out, be like, okay, I'm going out the couch and I'm going to come out from behind the fridge or whatever. But with outside, tricky. It's also like there could be a million doorways, when you get into the outside space, so again, I thought that was really cool. Another element, something I hope that we see in the next season is, more use of this nowhere space and this like pocket dimension that they have. But in the end, there was a huge story bit where they used it to escape Trollberg's safety patrol. That was the finale. And it's kind of on site now. Like the whole like Black Hound thing, like I know they're going to be looking for some sort of closure on that. People kind of getting separated a little bit. It was a very cool ending. Because for the first time it seemed like they were in like real trouble, like real world trouble of like, no, the police basically are after you and you're like harboring a fugitive, but it all worked out in the end, it seems like, they were able to go back, Tantu was living with them, which is cool, but overall, really nice. I do want to get into season 2 though. So let's jump into season 2, because again, I think overall the show very cool. There was some very serious moments. Like I said, with the friendship, and then the ending with like the police chase. Even with like the like weather stuff. There's some secrets with the weather lady, I feel like. But I think the show does a really good job of balancing those. Where there is, again, like more whimsical, more fantastical stuff. You get this meet a new creature in the world. But then we have some real consequences for, Hilda's actions. So speaking of those, I want to know if, so just with the theme of season 2 and what to expect and some questions I have, will those magic mice return? That's a huge question I have. If you're looking on YouTube right now, I have a screenshot of that episode where the magic mouse has embedded itself in David's head or his hair. So if you remember that episode, if you don't, I'll remind you. That was one where Hilda basically used magic to help David and his mom, or her mom, achieve some stuff. Get just a little bit of luck, have a big break. They were able to get rid of the magic, but at the very end, you'll see them sneak, both mice, they sneak back into Hilda's like backpack or whatever. Very ominous, very much, telling us very blatantly that we will see them again, but I'm interested to see how they'll return, because I feel like they could just wipe it away. Like, they could just forget that ever happened. It could just be like a nice little sting at the end of the episode. But I feel like them deliberately being like, oh, you have to give them bread so they'll leave you alone. And then she gives them bread and they don't leave her alone. I think we're going to see them again. I don't know in what capacity. I think there will be some relation to that one girl, the one like teenager who works at the library, who we've seen a few times at this point, who was like clearly a witch of some sort, getting some Owl House vibes. But I think that'll go hand in hand with her, because she is magic and she knows some stuff, and she's just been this kind of weird, like, reoccurring character that's helped Hilda out a few times, and we've just seen her. So I think we'll see that again. I already mentioned the weather lady, but there was some sort of like more like ominous stuff with her as well, like her keeping the like cloud baby. We just kind of see her like fall, I guess, off the weather tower, but like I don't think we're supposed to assume she's dead. I think we might see her again at some point, maybe get some of her story, maybe she does some more like treacherous things. And then we've already seen the Mara a couple times. I think it's an easy guess that we'll see them again. They've been a pretty big part of a couple different things at this point. We have an episode where they were taking over David's dreams, and then the very end with the whole like separation of Frida and stuff. So I think it's easy to say we'll probably see them again. This is a question I had. Will Hilda ever get a badge? I think that's the question everyone has, because it's like she has no badges. We had the very sad ceremony where it was like, okay, ceremony's over, and then the mom looks at Hilda, and Hilda's just like, I didn't do it. I wasn't able to get any badges. I mean, and part of that makes sense. I mean, she's been on some crazy adventures this whole time, but not one badge for one thing. I think if I had to guess, I would say she gets one. I would say at some point she ends up getting one, and we see it, and it's a great moment. I already mentioned this too, but we do have Tantu, who is just there now, who's just living with them and like out in the open. I'm not sure if that's gonna change like Nissi culture from here on out, where it's like Nissi are more accepted. But I do like that Tantu has kind of joined our colorful cast of characters. Again, I don't know that we're gonna see him every episode and he'll be a part of it, but I'm sure we'll see him once or twice throughout the next season, and some nice little moments with him. Again, I don't really see him being a huge part of any adventure necessarily, but I'm sure we'll get some nice little quips here and there. And then finally, like I said, will Frida fully actually re-enter the group? Again, we did get some sort of makeup at the end. Just a nice little gesture of her helping David with the sleeping bag, and then her kind of get thrust into this final like chase scene, or like the final like whole situation with the Black Hound and all that. But again, I would really like the first episode. Unless they focus on something super pertinent before that, but I would like the first episode or two to have a moment with Frida and them all kind of making up and kind of apologizing, because they both kind of said things I'm sure they didn't really mean. And us really get this group back, stronger than ever. But yeah, that's kind of everything I can say about season 2. I mean, I have seen some images and stuff I do know there's like a movie out as well, which I think is the end. I think Hilda's only getting 2 seasons in a movie. I think I don't really know, honestly. But from stuff I've seen, I feel like the show gets darker, which I'm not really asking for. But hey, I mean, season 1 was great. Season 1 was very nice. So whatever they do with season 2, I trust them because it's really cool. That's pretty much it. Let me know what you thought of the first season of Hilda. Who your favorite character was. Who your favorite, different like magical creatures out there. I thought we some of the cool ones. Woodman is very nice. He has a very, like dry kind of humor, addition to a show like this. And let me know what your predictions are for season 2. Some stuff we'll see. Again, very very slice of lifey. So, we're just basically guessing on what type of adventures they can go on at this point. But, we'll see. We'll see what it turns out to be. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Make sure to go to the YouTube, not the other fake YouTubes out there. Tiger T, go to other podcast services. Also some Twitter goodness in the description. All the links for everything will be below, of course. And until next time, watch season 2 of Hilda. And let me know what other animated stuff you want me to discuss on here.